Number two, so I just think that we need to get away from stereotyping people full stop. It shouldn't be done against any group of people. When anyone makes sweeping judgments about a particular group of people and treats everyone the same without any individuality, that is wrong. That is stereotyping. It's another form of discrimination, regardless of whether it comes at it from a positive or a negative angle. It is still stereotyping. It's still singling out. It's stigmatising. That's the word. It's stigmatising. It ignores their individuality. It's dehumanising. We must stop doing it against any group in society. It's disgusting, and it makes me very angry. And yet people do this all the time. Why? I don't understand it. We need to start seeing people as individuals. That's why my channel is called Autism as Individual. We need to start seeing people as individuals. So in case anyone gets the wrong idea, I'm not against employers trying to recruit more disabled people. It's the way in which it's done. And the other thing I wanted to say, I was thinking about this lately, about the neurodiversity movement. What has the neurodiversity movement ever done to help people on social security? I'm deliberately not using the word benefits. I'll come on to that later. But what has the neurodiversity movement ever done to help people who are in receipt of social welfare, aka social security payments? Basically, people who can't earn their own income, so unless they're like very, very rich, have to rely on some form of state support. What has the neurodiversity movement ever done to help those people? Because I can't see anything they've ever done. Have they ever helped to raise these payments? Because they're really low. I mean, the government has recently announced it's going to raise them by something like 10%. That's not even going to happen until next year. However, that's just spin, because as we all know, cost of living crisis is going up. It amounts to nothing. So what have they ever done? It seems to me that the neurodiversity movement's sole prerogative is trying to kind of advocate for certain adjustments in the workplace, which obviously, is important. I'm saying that's not important. But that seems to be the mainstay of what they do, and also a lot of it is semantics, like how you talk about autism, not using certain language anymore, the euphemistic treadmill, identity politics, positive stereotyping. But I haven't seen any evidence on the ground of them helping people like me, because if they have, I would know about it by now. If it really was a social justice movement, it would actually be out on the streets, like actually really, trying, even if it was unsuccessful, but we still know about it because it would be in the news and stuff. So no. They're emasculated. They haven't done anything to help me. It's a load of crap. I guess the only thing they've done to help people like me, although I don't actually really think this is the neurodiversity movement per se, I think it was more just a shift that occurred before the neurodiversity movement really got under swing anyway, so I'm not sure the neurodiversity movement can really claim for credit, is maybe they a little bit kind of helped understand how autism affects people differently. That's probably all they've actually done, in a positive way, to help all autistic people, maybe. But yeah, they really haven't done to help people like me properly. And I guess the key is in the title. The neurodiversity movement is not called neurodisability. Oh no, heaven forbid. Disability doesn't really feature much in their language, apart from to say that they think disability is a social construct. So it seems that a large number of them will say that autism is a disability, but then they will caveat that by saying it's a social construct, by saying that maybe in some utopian society, can you think of a utopian society that exists where there wouldn't be disability? Think that one up. I don't think there would be such a society. But in some kind of utopian society, they seem to be saying that disability would no longer exist. everything will be hunky-dory, all deficits will disappear, because it's all society, you know. But how would that happen? We live in a messy world. No matter what society is, it's always going to be messy. You can never please everyone, and so therefore, the majority will always have the upper swing. That means the upper say. That means that people with innate biological deficits, because essentially that's what it is, are going to be disabled, no matter what. And I guess that's why it's so important that we have a social welfare state that at least ensures there are some kind of securities there, so that they, despite the fact they're disabled, you know, are not going to needlessly suffer. So as I say, it's in the wording, the neurodiversity movement. Not much talk about disability. And I think that says it all about why you'll find they haven't really done much to help people in receipt of social security benefits. They never talk about people on social security benefits. It doesn't really come up much in their rhetoric about fighting for Tories. And I can tell you another reason why that's the case, because a lot of them are actually Tory themselves. A large proportion of the neurodiversity movement, for all their progressive spin, are actually not socialists. And those of them who proclaim to be progressive and on the left are often members of the New Left. The New Left, unfortunately, I mean, it's really, Thatcher would love this. It's very largely a product of Thatcherism. The New Left, New Labour, New Left, has very much co-opted, has kind of aligned itself with neoliberal capitalism. And I think that says it all. They don't talk anymore about materiality, about the base, about facticities of life. Everything's a social construct. It's all postmodernism. It's like Thatcher's ice cream. It's a facsimile. That's the right word, isn't it? A facsimile of. It's a facsimile. It's not the real thing. It's an abstraction. It's just chemicals. It's an air fart. That's what neurodiversity movement is. Yes, they have done some work, good work. I'm not saying they haven't, but it's very much helps those who are the least afflicted. I guess because it's easiest and less costly to do that. So that's kind of what I wanted to say about that. And I do prefer the word neurodisability to neurodiverse, so actually maybe that's what I'm going to start talking about now. I'm not going to say neurodiversity, I'm going to talk about the neurodisabled, because that is more accurate in my view. And the other thing, by the way, the reason why I don't say benefits, but instead from now on I'm going to start talking about social security, is because I think benefits is incredibly stigmatising, and it's not much worse than handouts, and I think that social security, social security, social welfare, is far less stigmatising. It's kind of more accurate as to what it is, and it emphasises the sort of socialist aspect, and also, of course, most people at some point in their life are on social security. I mean, pensions, state pension is basically social welfare, social security. So it's less stigmatising, it doesn't single people out. Anyway, thank you for watching.